Welcome back, DIYers and weekend warriors. Today I'm going to show you how to install this porcelain sink, faucet, and drain. Now the easiest time to install a faucet is before you even put the sink in place. You're going to start by taking off the plastic nuts on the bottom, and then we're going to use some plumber's putty that you're going to want to roll out with the palm of your hand to about the thickness of a pencil. And then you're going to place it around the bottom. Now if you put too much on, when you go to tighten your faucet, you won't be able to get it tight enough and your faucet will get loose later on. Now there are also faucets out there that come with a rubber seal on them, and you don't need to put any plumber's putty on those fixtures. So when you're done, it should look something like this. Now it doesn't have to be perfect bead all the way around. What you're going for is an equal amount all the way around so that your faucet will tighten down evenly. Sometimes, like today when it's 108 degrees, the plumber's putty practically melts in your hand, gets kind of sticky and doesn't want to let go. Other times when it's 60 degrees outside, you can't hardly get it out of the can and you have to warm it up with your hands. So there's a little trick. So once your plumber's putty is on, go ahead and install the faucet onto your sink, and you're just going to go ahead and tighten down those plastic nuts just little by little, and you're going to see that the plumber's putty squeezes out on the top side. Now you can use a pair of channel locks if you're careful, remembering that these are just plastic nuts. So when you're done with that, flip it over and you can begin to take off the excess. And I find it the easiest way is to just roll the putty over itself, and it just kind of peels itself right out, and then you can just put the extra back in the bucket. Next, you're going to want to test fit your sink into your counter. Now I built this laminate counter and I used the template that came with the sink, so I know everything fits properly. You're going to want to do this to make sure that your overmount sink doesn't fall through and become an under the counter sink, because, well, that would be very bad. If you want to see how I built this laminate countertop, it's going to be in my next video, so make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell button so you'll be notified. To seal the sink, I like to use DAP's Quick Seal Plus, which is their kitchen and bathroom caulking series. And it is waterproof, mold resistant, and what I also like is that you can paint it, which is a real plus. It comes in two different sizes. You can buy it in the squeeze tube, which is what I'm using here, or you can buy it for a caulking gun as well. Now I like these smaller squeeze tubes because you can get them into tight locations around toilets and bathtubs where you just can't quite get a caulking gun. Once you have an 1/8 inch bead around the base, you can go ahead and set your sink in place. And then you're going to seal around the outside of it with the same caulking that you just used. Now they do make tools that you can use to smooth out your edges, but I find that if you just get your finger wet and run it along there gently, you can get a real nice clean professional bead when you're done. For the drain, we're going to be using this push button stop tailpiece, and it's pretty easy to install. It's got all the rubber pieces on there that you need. You just got to take this bottom piece off of it and take the nut off that seems to take forever. Once you have the nut removed, set it and the plastic washer aside and remove the lower rubber seal. Now you're going to check to make sure that the upper seal is properly oriented before you install the tailpiece into your sink. Now you'll know that the one side of it is flat and the other side is beveled, and that bevel should be pointing downward. Now the seal on the bottom needs to be pointing up towards the sink. Then you're going to install the washer and the nut. After you've hand tightened the nut into place, you can use a pair of channel locks to tighten that nut. Now if you go too tight, you can break the sink, and I have seen that happen before. So you do want to be careful, and you can tighten it a little more after you do your water test if it leaks. Before installing your hot and cold supply lines, make sure that you have identified which one is which. Now, your cold supply line should go on the right when you're standing at the sink, and your hot should be on the left. Now, I'm not sure why my camera is recording backwards in this, but it is lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, as with everything else in the world. Now, the drain line is pretty easy. You're going to install these plastic nuts over this plastic tube with your plastic or rubber seals pointing away from the nut that you are tightening down. Once you have all of your drain line pieces installed, you can go ahead and hand tighten all of these plastic nuts. You don't want to use any kind of wrench or channel locks on them because you will break them. So hand tight only. Turn your shutoff valves on, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Turn both hot and cold water on. When checking for leaks underneath, you're going to want to just run your hand across all of the joints and connections and check for moisture. Also, don't forget to check your supply lines as well, at the valves and up at the faucet. The next step, you're going to want to plug the drain and fill the sink all the way up so that it can run through the overflow. Now, some people don't check this, but I have also found cracked sinks and you end up with a leak there. Again, go underneath and check all of your connections like you did before to make sure that there's no problems. And that's it, easy peasy. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below if you have any questions, or if there's any future projects that you'd like to see or learn how to do, let me know. I'll see what I can do about it. Until next time, thanks for watching.